What can the Bible teach you? Today's talk is based on 2 Timothy 3, verse 16. It says, all holy texts, or you can say scriptures, is inspired by God, beneficial for teaching, reproving, setting things straight, disciplining. How can the Bible teach you? The Bible can teach you by telling you how to live life. Reproving. When you don't measure up to God's standards, you can know what God requires of you so you can become a spiritual man, a spiritual woman. For setting things straight. For example, what is the role of a woman? What is the role of a man? How can I get along with my neighbor? How can I raise a child? How can I learn to spend money? Things you need in everyday life. For disciplining. How do I know what's right? What's wrong? How can I become a disciplined person? That means you have total hold of yourself. This is what the talk for today is all about. The basic stuff you can learn from the Bible for everyday living. Without the Bible, we are lost. We rely on human wisdom, saying things like we come from monkeys. The whole creation was made by a big bang, an explosion. Everything comes down into place. Basic teaching of the Bible tells us the purpose of mankind. It gives us hope. It helps us to have a relationship with God. Isaiah 42 verse 8 refer to God as Yahweh. It means the one we look up to. Ecclesiastes 9 verse 10 remind us to seek wisdom so we know our purpose before we die. Psalms 30 verse 29 says human can live forever, young, problem-free. When we dig into the Bible, we learn the truth of our existence. Jeremiah 10 verse 23 says, it does not belong to men to know what is right to do. It does not belong to men to direct his steps. Where you're going to put your feet. How to live life. It does not belong to wisdom, human wisdom, or philosophy, political law, but the truth of the Bible. When we apply what we learn from the Bible, we know what is true. We know what is right. In Acts chapter 5, verse 29, it reads, we must obey God as ruler rather than men. Does that mean we need to disobey political law? No. That means when we know what is true, we are able to please God as well as everyone else. Doesn't mean we have an open mind, but we know what is true, the correct way to approach any situation, anything that may not be up to your biblical standards, so we don't become an obstacle for others. Do we need God? We always need God. No matter how imperfect you are, no matter how perfect we may become, we will always need God. Because our obligation is to love God, the Creator, the one who creates us, to thank Him for giving us life, Although you may think you are a good person, our thinking can deviate over time. We may become insensitive because men have the tendency to copy what others are doing around them. Proverbs 27, verse 19. Men reflect another man. When you see a person doing something, even though you yourself, you may not think it's right, or you may think it's right, we have the tendency to copy what other people do. That's why we need Bible standards so we can know where to draw the line, the correct order of living. Matthew chapter 7, verse 13-14, it talks about the cramped road leading into life. For us not to take the road that leads to destruction. When we are born, our eyes is open to what we see around us. We need to find God's true purpose for us. The cramped road is not easy. We have to do things that other people around us are not doing. Things that are hard to do so we can become the best version of ourselves. Like not living a life of pleasure, eating, drinking, shopping, having sex, getting married, watching movies. But we need to do things that are harder, like reading your Bible, getting together so you can talk about God. But you might say to yourself, I'm not having any fun. God's Spirit, when we get closer to God, we are able to bring out the image of Him through us. God is a happy God. What it says in 1 Timothy 1 verse 11. God wants all these things that you are seeing around you for you. But the thing is, you have to learn how to do it right. You have to be able to be stronger than the ones around you. So that way no one is hurting another person. They don't get jealous of you. They don't see that you're putting yourself above them. Because when you to have the liberty of the children of God, you have to put your mentality. That means you have to be able to put everyone above you before you can love yourself. That's called humility. In Romans 8 verse 21, it says God wants us to be free. That means the cramped road is not forever. We have to try to go through the cramped road before we can do the things that people are doing in the open road. God is the creator. He creates all things. When you prepare a beautiful table for the family, you make food, you set the silverware, napkins, the table is beautiful. Would you be happy for them to think that everything happened on its own? They don't see any hard work behind it? Or nobody actually worked on it? No. Somebody had to do all the hard work. It's the same analogy with God. Because some humans believe that there is no God because they cannot see Him. God is a spirit. His soul is stronger than ours. He's not materialized. Romans 1 verse 20 says, we can learn about God through the creation. So we have no excuse not to believe in Him. When we see trees, the ocean, the planet we are living in, beautiful flowers, how children can start from a little small dot, become a grown baby. When a baby is born, they continue to grow. These are things that is not within human control. The creation, the things we see around us, The things that human cannot duplicate tells us what kind of person God is. As we learn about God, knowing what kind of person he is, we become closer to him. We resemble more like him. We see the truth in God. You have a spiritual eyes. You are able to see the things other people around you cannot see.